Please welcome BAFTA and Oscar nominee Florence Pugh. Oh my God, all the gowns. I'm loving this.
I had no idea there were so many people in here. Hi, everyone. Sorry, the gown, yes, I know.
Yes.
Ha.
I want to take a nap, like just on the whole thing.
You can. You could be the blanket, too. I'll just throw it over you.
So before I get to Little Women, because I also love Midsummer, and I'm sure people in the audience do too. When you think back to the whole experience of Midsummer, what was the craziest part? Was it reading it for the first time? Was it filming a particular scene? Or was it seeing the finished product that Ari Aster put together?
Every aspect of what you just said was bizarre. There was no middle ground. I remember when I read it, I was in the middle of a very intense shoot on Little Drummer Girl, and my agent just said, look, I know you're busy, but if you can, just read the script because this director is amazing and it's nuts. And I was like, okay, cool. And I read it, and every single page that I turned, my jaw just got lower and lower to the point where when she burnt her boyfriend, I was like, yes, burn him alive. And then when I heard myself say burn him alive, I was like, well, I gotta burn him alive. That was nuts. And then when we made it, every single day was such a relationship with the camera, and the choreography with every single one of us was huge. It was like watching an artist kind of do his painting, and that's what Ari did every day. So the whole process was pretty nuts.
Were you, I mean, Danny, your character, what she's experiencing, before she goes to this experience and during is so intense. Were you spent at the end of the shoot? Did you need like some time to just get in bed?
I'm sure I did. There was no time. I had 5 days difference between Midsummer and Little Women. So it was, yeah. No, what I will say is if the films had been the other way around, I think I would have had a breakdown. But they were in the perfect places. And when I finished Danny, I was so exhausted and so... it was a nice feeling. I was sad, I was emotional. That character is probably the hardest I've ever worked. I've never done anything as deep as that before. And then I finished, and I got to play one of the most bubbly, naughty, incredible, cheekiest children that has ever been written. And I got the moment to persuade the audience to like her.
Right, that's at first.
Which... I hope Amy March is proud.
Was Greta Gerwig at all concerned that you had just come off an experience like Midsummer? Or was she like, oh, you'll be all right?
They had no clue what I was doing. They had started rehearsal period about 2 weeks before I got there, and they would send me audio clips of what they were doing in the rehearsal room. And as an actor, when you miss rehearsal time, it's the saddest thing, because that's where all the fun is. And I was missing it. I was like, oh my God. And they'd send me these audio clips of them doing these amazing scenes, and all I had to do was send them a selfie of me in my flower crown and my flower dress, looking like a Christmas pudding. And they kept on being like, what are you doing?
So what were the conversations, what did Greta say to you as far as, you just alluded to this is a different Amy March than we've ever seen before in any of the Little Women films. She's so much more than, the kind of bratty character that we've seen in all the other adaptations. What did she say to you as far as what she was looking to do differently with this character?
I had a meeting with her at Amy Pascal's house before we had decided if I was going to do it or not. And
that's the producer of the film.
Amy Pascal is the amazing producer of this film. Yep, she gets an applaud. She basically gave Greta all the toys that all the boys got to make big films, and she said, make your female film, and she did it. So, yeah. I was around her house, and Greta was like eating popcorn and just saying how how she wanted Amy to be more than just the girl that burnt the book and ended up with the guy, and how she was excited to maybe let people see themselves in Amy. And when we made it, it felt great and lovely, but what was so exciting was when it came out and I would bump into people or do interviews with people, the amount of people that said, I'm so proud to say that I am a piece of Amy. And for so many years, this girl has been tarnished as the girl that doesn't think about others, doesn't really have anything that she's planning for other than marrying for rich. And Greta went back to the book. She found out who this lady was. She is ambitious, she is creative, and she knows her place in the world as being a woman. And I think through Amy in this version, the audience finally gets to see how rough and how tough it was for women, and actually how clever she was to choose the life that she had.
Love it. And my understanding is that Greta really fought for you, there to get this part. So what happened on last Monday when the Oscar nominations came out and she was nominated for a screenplay? Of course, it would have been nice if she had gotten some other nominations too, but she was nominated for screenplay, and then you and Saoirse were nominated. What was the phone call with her?
It's true. I had already said yes to Midsummer, and when we spoke about Little Women, I didn't know if the dates were going to work, and really, the dates did not work at all. They were like 2 weeks overlapping, and every time I tried to imagine someone playing either one of those roles, I got really sad. And I was like, well, there you go. That's proof I need to do both of them. And so got on the phone to Greta and Ari, and I said, I really need you to help me. And they both moved mountains to make those schedules work. So when Monday happened, Greta called me and she just screamed inaudibly for about 2 minutes. And she said, I knew it! I didn't want to say anything, but I knew it! And I was like, okay, I wish you could have told me.
Well, let's just say thank God for Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, thank God for Greta Gerwig.
Congratulations, Florence Pugh. All right, moving right along to George Mackay from 1917. Here's a clip of George in the movie.